In today's video, I am doing a full update on my 6-foot canister run saltwater fish tank. But before we get to all of that, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on that bell so that you're notified when I'm uploading new videos. And as always, such a huge thank you to all of my subscribers and supporters. It means the absolute world, so thank you. So just a bit of a background for those of you who are new to my channel. I have basically been documenting for the last 3 years here on YouTube the ups and downs, every single bit about running this tank on canister filters. I figured if this is going to work, I definitely want to, film it and have proof. So anyone else that is, wanting to get into the saltwater hobby and, like myself, maybe can't afford to get the beautiful big, decked out tanks, which would be amazing. But this used to be a discus tank, and I went down to my local fish shop and got convinced to give saltwater a try, and decided to turn this into a saltwater tank just using all the equipment basically from my freshwater setup and turning it into saltwater. So I was like, I've heard of someone locally that has a canister filter run fish tank, and I'd seen a couple of other YouTubers who had a canister filter run fish tank. So I was like, I know it's possible. And I think it's a great alternative for people who maybe want a softy dominant tank like this one, with some gorgeous big tangs. Because it can, as I've discovered, be, a really great option for people wanting to get into the saltwater hobby, and definitely not to be scared about entering into the hobby. There's so many different ways that you can do it. But anyways, that's a bit of a summary of why I started, this whole YouTube channel and sharing the journey of my canister filter run fish tank. And I guess my heart behind it the entire time has always, I know for myself, starting out in the saltwater hobby, it seemed very daunting, and there are so many different gadgets and gizmos and very strong opinionated people saying it has to be done a certain way and you have to have X, Y, and Z equipment or it will fail, it will not work. So that's been my entire heart and intention this whole time sharing this journey with you guys, is to hopefully encourage other people into the saltwater hobby and to not be so scared off, that you can have a really simple basic equipment kind of setup. So I'll just run through what I've got running equipment wise. I've got my 2 Sea Whale canister filters that I am running on this tank. I've got my Sea power heads as well. I've also got my 2 heaters on either side, so I've got double just, with the size of the tank. If one fails, I've got another one to back it up. And of course, I've got this gorgeous Dulua Illuminagic, the X4 lighting, and also the Vitamini bar at the back, which I think over the years, I reckon lighting has got to be one of the things that can really transform a tank and really give it the wow factor. If you're really going to, if you're going for like a softy tank, or you're not going for a full SBS, I reckon lighting can really make any basic sort of looking tank look just phenomenal. So I absolutely love these lights, and they've definitely turned my tank into something I absolutely love. So yeah, but equipment wise, that's all I've got, and that's all I've had the entire few years. Something I do and something I always stand by is, if you're not going to be dosing or doing this and that, I think, I absolutely swear by water changes. And, I'm always more than happy to go and put the effort in to do water changes. I just think there's nothing, I don't know, in my opinion, I think it's so great for the water to just constantly get that fresh, water put in. I know a lot of people sometimes run their tanks without water changes, which I'm sure would be lovely, but I don't know, I feel in myself as I'm giving the water change to the tank, I just think it's so good for the tank. So yeah, I just try and do regular water changes once a week or once every 2 weeks if I can. And I don't have an auto top off on this tank, so I just top it up every few days to make sure that it stays all right. But because there's so much water volume, I can kind of get away with it. But yeah, that's all I do on this tank, is make sure I just keep consistent with my water changes. And I honestly don't clean out my canister filters that often anymore. At the beginning, I was really scared of this whole thing failing. A lot of people told me it was gonna all crash and burn after the first year. So I was actually at the beginning cleaning out my canister filters because I had 2. I would I would clean out one canister filter a week. I was pulling it out, cleaning it out, because everyone was like, oh, they're nitrate factories, it's gonna spike your nitrates, blah, blah, blah. So I was actually cleaning out the canister filters once every week and alternating them. So as I've discovered as I've gone along, that's, you know, way too over the top. I guess I was just a little bit worried at the beginning and really didn't want this to, you know, fail. So that's what I was doing at the beginning. But now it's once every few months, to be honest, that I clean out the canister filters, but I just do my regular water changes. And for those of you who don't know, I now use natural seawater. So at the beginning, I reckon the first year and a half, I was, you know, using normal synthetic salt. And then you know, quite a lot of reefers in Australia use natural seawater because we're just super lucky with amazing water down here. So I decided to go and start collecting my own natural seawater. I have done a video on the parameters on that as well, if you wanted to go and check that out. It's super interesting. So yeah, I'm really lucky. You know, you can't do it everywhere in the world, obviously, but we're just super lucky where we are to have gorgeous natural seawater. So that's what I do. I grab my few buckets of natural seawater and do my water changes that way. It's honestly so easy. So yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I mean, you know, the first year and a half I did mix my own salt water and do it that way, but it has become so much easier. I just go down to the beach and grab what I need of salt water now, so it is that much more simple. But yeah, I get people saying that this tank only works because I use natural seawater, or, you know, people say it's bad, but for the first year and a half, I did synthetic salt on canister filters as well. So it's definitely not just the natural seawater that makes this tank work. Worked perfectly fine on synthetic salt as well. So it's really funny. I feel like people still try to discredit, you know, canister filters and try and find anything like, oh, it's the natural seawater that makes it work, or it's this or that. But you know, I think with good husbandry and, you know, making sure you're putting the effort into your water changes and stuff like that, I definitely think it's possible. And this tank is honestly so easy. Like, it's just beautiful. I think soft corals are just completely underrated. So my goal is to just collect as many beautiful big soft corals for this tank and just let it do its thing. I love the beautiful big fish. And I just love how low maintenance this tank is, honestly. For those of you who have followed me with my water box, I, you know, did everything by the book with that water box. You know, I was testing every day at one point. I had all the equipment, and honestly, I've just had way less issues with this tank. Like, I know I've only had soft corals, but for anyone that, you know, might just want a really chilled out tank with soft corals, which, you know, are beautiful corals, it's definitely doable. And yeah, I think it's been really fun watching my fish grow as well over the years. You know, I've had a few of them. You know, my blue tang, I had him at the very beginning. He was the size of a clownfish when I first got it. And, you know, he's getting beautiful and big now. It's just, yeah, so nice to watch. And that's one thing I absolutely love about tangs, is they can live up to like 30 plus years, which I just absolutely love that. And to be able to grow with them. And, you know, they get to know you, like even Big Joycey out the front here, they always come and follow you around the room. And I feel like they're so much smarter than we give them credit for. Like, I absolutely love feeding them their nori. They know what's going on. And yeah, I just think they've got so much personality. It's just so fun having these fish, honestly. I'm obsessed with big tangs, and yeah, I just wouldn't have it any other way. Leave that in there for them now. I know you can get those seaweed clips. I've actually got one myself, but they just end up ripping it off straight away, so I don't think there's any point in me putting it on there. I know it's been ages since I've done an update on the tank, but yeah, I'm trying to space out my videos a little bit more now, you know, as I can't set up a new tank video every single week. But yeah, it's all been going really, really well. I was lucky enough to be given this beautiful rock structure over on this side of the tank with this gorgeous big leather on there as well. Some more beautiful green morphs from a local reefer. So that's just really, you know, added to the tank over there. I'm obsessed with that rock work. It's just really added a nice little structure over there, which I love. It's just really coming together nicely. I got some beautiful corals from Ocean Reef Marine last time I was up in Perth. This beautiful big soft coral right here. this long polyp leather over here. And yeah, it's just been so cool to, you know, start collecting all different types of soft corals and just watch them grow out and fill out this tank. So it is a little bit tricky having soft corals, trying to pick a day that all of them are looking happy, as, you know, soft corals tend to shed and, you know, look a bit sad for a few days while they're shedding. So it's really hard to do a video when all of it's looking nice at the same time. But yeah, as I said, it's been such an awesome tank to run, and yeah, I guess completely doable if you are wanting to run, you know, a really low key coral tank and, you know, have the beautiful fish. It can totally be done with canister filters and a very basic setup. So yeah, there we have it. The 3 update of my 6-foot tank. Just wanted to do a bit of a update on that. I know I was looking back and going, oh my gosh, it's actually been 3 years running this tank now on canister filters. So it's been so cool and such an awesome journey, and I'm just glad it's, you know, all worked out in the end. Well, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for everyone's support along the way, and for those who believed in me back, you know, when I first started it up. So yeah, it's just been awesome, and you know, it'll just continue to keep ticking along, doing its thing. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time with an update on one of the other tanks.